China could tap 12 trillion yuan in new debt for stimulus in 2025, economist says, to ensure stimulus measures are long-lasting and effective. A Chinese economist says, speed and scale must be prioritized. China should roll out more stimulus measures as soon and quickly as possible to counter the possibility of a downward spiral, where insufficient spending and dwindling income feed into one another, a government advisor has urged. New government debts to be raised next year, including treasury bonds, local special purpose bonds, and off-budget debt sales, could exceed 12 trillion yuan, US $1.67 trillion, Zhang Bing said, deputy director of the Institute of the World Economics and Politics at the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. In the past, every increase in aggregate demand is inseparable from an increase in government spending, because it is a fast variable that can quickly change the situation in a short time. He said in October 20 webinar organized by China Microeconomy Forum. As the second largest economy has seemingly lost momentum since the second quarter of the year, Beijing has rolled out a set of incremental policy to achieve the country's annual targets for economic growth, around 5%. Over the past few weeks, state agencies with economic portfolios have taken turns giving high-profile press conferences, though all have stayed tight-lipped about specific scale and the timeline of the stimulus plan. The policy they have announced suggests a more active approach to spending by the central government, particularly on large-scale urban renewal projects and debt relief for local governments. One reason for the lack of hard figure could be the legal process of approval. Any increases to the fiscal budget or bond quota require assent from the National People's Congress, the country's top legislature. As the prescription is now available, he said, the speed of implementation has become paramount. It is a race between time and policy when using counter-cyclical policy to combat insufficient demand. He said, if the policy does not move, it will accelerate downward trend. The earlier you act, the lower the cost and the easier it is to succeed. The scale of stimulus is even more important. He said, as previous policy adjustments were not broad enough to address the issue of insufficient demand. This is not because there is a problem with the policy, but because it is not strong enough, he said. If the economic growth target is 5% with a reasonable price level, the year-on-year growth rate of government spending should be no less than 7%. This could require new government debts totaling over 12 trillion yuan compared to around 11 trillion yuan in 2024. As far as where that spending would go, he said there is still room for infrastructure improvement. Per capita access to public service facilities such as libraries and museums still lags behind the level of developing country. He added, as does the quality of underground pipelines. There are many things that need government investment, but they are not the same as in the past. It is no longer about bigger infrastructure projects, but more about capillaries and subtle details.